Well, there I'm in Britain here with my friend George Henry III, and he wrote this BBC article on women in the 1920s. Excuse me, George Henry III. When you said the changing role of women was a result of the work they did during the war, what did you mean by that?
I meant that the women in the war were given more opportunities because of all the they did during the war, like helping produce the weapons and stuff like that. And so after the war, they come home and they don't get to have a beer, so they come home and their husbands with their legs blown off.
In your article, George, you say women wore clothing more convenient for activity and stopped wearing long skirts and corsets. Is that true?
Yes, it really is true, but it was after the war, they felt they could be more liberated because they felt they had to be a big part of the war, you know what I mean? And there were a lot of social changes, so they had to change their outfits to go with the section of the times.
You hear, folks, BBC with George Henry III, all these amazing facts about women, and these women in the 1920s obviously show that women, their roles in the house were changing. They're going from just cooking and cleaning in the kitchen. They went to factories during the war. And they made stuff like planes and some tanks. And then yeah, that's it. They changed kinda. All right, this has been Ethan here in Britain, BBC author George Henry III. What would you like to say for yourself after this interview?
I had fun writing the article.
That's great. All right, well, we'll send it back to you, Zach.
Hello, today I'm here with Estelle Freeman, and she wrote a book about feminism in the 1920s. Okay, so, the book is really, valuable for all the women in all the time period, and you really focus on how the women came out of their shells in this time period. They start to show their true colors and how they really work. So, is this your proudest piece of work that you have ever done?
No, I would say that's my husband, but, I would also say that my book about feminism, kind of shows how women in the 1920s really changed how America was in the 20th century. I think that women women kind of changed how America was because it showed men, the stupid men, that women aren't just pregnancy things and they can do other things and make sandwiches.
Good point. Okay, guys, so we're going to send it back to the channel. I thank you very much for being here. Good job on your book about 1920.
Thank you.
Good morning, America. I'm here with Helen Lowry, the author of The Uninhibited Flapper, a book about women in the 1920s. Ms. Lowry, what do you have to say about women of that time period?
The Uninhibited Flapper, they were a different type of woman back in the day. They were ones who would just scandalously not follow the rules of their men, or even have a man in the first place. They would go out, they would drink, party, smoke a lot, just like me. That's why my voice is kind of like this. I've been smoking cigarettes for 80 years. Back in the flapper days, I'd smoke 10 packs a day.
Is that why you also have more of a mustache than I do?
That is also why I have more of a mustache than you, sir.
Alright, just wanted to make sure. Now, in your opinion, did this flapper movement help liberate women, or did it only prove to show that women can't be trusted?
I believe that this movement definitely improved the view of women because it showed that they're independent. They're strong. They don't need men. They could be themselves and flourish in the world.
Absolutely. So you're saying that by liberating themselves, women could gain a more positive and independent view about themselves and have a more cleaner look. Is that what I'm getting from this?
That's exactly what you're getting, Mr. Man.
Alright, well, thanks for the interview. Really appreciate it, you ogre. And back to you, AJ.
Hello, I'm Ethan Brossman, and I am here with F. Scott Fitzgerald, the author of The Great Gatsby, who's from L.A. I have some questions for you, F. Scott. How, when looking at your book through the lenses of feminism, how would you describe your book?
Well, in my book, I like to give the females a lot more perspective on what they be doing with their lives, Got to give them a lot more courage and animosity to go out and be able to do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
My name's Aaron, and I'm here with History.com to talk about the Roaring Twenties and the role women played in this era. Mr. History, what is the role that the women did play or somehow changed to in this era?
Yes. Well, women in this era, they redefined themselves, for most of history, all of history, really. Women just kind of went along with what the men had told them to do. But during this time period, due to whatever, you choose to associate it with, whether it was the Great Depression or the First World War, sending them into the workforce, the women decided to change the status quo. They decided to, go out more. They decided to wear less clothing. They decided to make a funky dance so they can, really dance to that jazz music. All these different things culminate into, them really redefining themselves during this time period.
Very, very insightful by Mr. History over here. One last question. When you were writing this article, did you think that the women of this era were going to impact the modern day woman, or not?
No, you see, that is a very good question you posed to me. During the writing of this article, I really, endowed myself in this, kind of lifestyle. I even transitioned to a woman to better understand, their stance in the world. I'm really dedicated to my work, and I decided through this, radical change that it was all because of this roaring 20s mentality that I feel bold enough to be a woman. So it was really it was in fact because of these women in the roaring 20s that has opened up so many doors for the women of today and the men that will soon become a woman like myself.
Very insightful again. So, there you have it, folks. The women of the 1920s gratefully impacted through their whole independence thing. And I'm out.